Welcome back into the broadcast. Some technical difficulties as the next pitch comes in and outside for strike number 3. It's back-to-back Ks here for the Merchants and Caden Larson. And that'll turn over the lineup. Drew Kamihara will now step in. Kamihara bats from the left side of the plate. The Studs up 2-0 here early on. The first pitch from Larson. A bunt is shown, pulled back in strike number 1. Kamihara struck out his last time up. Larson making to look at 3 strikeouts here in the bottom of the second as the next pitch goes below the ankles for ball number 1. 2 outs here early on. The 1-1. Swing and a miss for strike number 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes here in the bottom of the second. Studs up 2-0. Larson looks in. The 1-2 pitch is way outside. Kamihara spits on it. Count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Larson's looked pretty good up there, giving up just the 1 base hit to Isaiah Afwork. And even that had a chance to be an out. The shortstop couldn't make a play on it as the next pitch comes in 2-2. Foul ball down the first baseline. Count stays the same. But the 2 runs were just off of the Aiden Dance hit by pitch and the Makana Murray Shige error. And then a couple of stolen bases by both of those guys that manufactured the first couple of runs for the Studs. But outside of that, Larson has been nails. As the 2-2 pitch comes way down low, skips in for ball number 3. So Kamihara is battling, trying to avoid the back-to-back strikeouts. Larson on the other end of things trying to make it 3 straight strikeouts to strike out the side. It would be his 5th K of the game already. Kamihara steps in. The 3-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Kamihara hangs his head on the way back to the dugout, and it's back-to-back Ks for Kamihara, and it's Larson who strikes out the side, here in Tacoma. So 1-2-3, bottom of the second, but the Studs still up 2-0. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere. And we are back here in the top of the 3rd inning. Stepping in for the Merchants, it's going to be Easton Leonard as the first pitch comes in. Line drive right at the second baseman, Jake Gallagher, who makes a nice leaping play for out number 1. So it's 1 pitch and 1 out here to Easton Leonard. And that'll bring up Tyler Bugby, the left fielder. Steps in from the right side of the plate. first offering in there for strike number 1. Tyler Logan has given up the walk to start the top of the first, and there's been a couple of it, or just one error, excuse me, as the next offering comes in for strike number 2. But Logan has not given up a base hit yet. Has been dominant. 4 Ks. And has sat down 7 batters up until this point. The 0-2, way up and outside for ball number 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Tyler Bugby. Bugby hitting 250 on the season in just a few games for the Merchants. Playing left field. So the 1-2 pitch comes in, and that's another one outside. Logan spins around out there, and kind of wanted that one to catch the black, but it did miss by at least a few inches. Count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes here. Top of the third, Studs are up 2-0. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, the high cheddar. Sits down Tyler Bugby, and it is the 5th strikeout here for Tyler Logan. And now that I'll turn over the lineup, and it'll bring up Axel Poles. And Tyler Logan, just too good out there. A left-handed pitcher, 6'1", 205. His second start for the Studs, and he has still not given up an earned run. As the next pitch comes in and finds the strike zone for strike number 1. Coming into this game, he had 11 innings pitched with the K for 9 of above 10. He strikes out everyone as the 0-1 pitch comes in, and that's why another strike. Logan just dumps strikes into the strike zone. He has a nice 3-pitch mix. He's got a mid-80s fastball with a changeup and a curveball, and that curveball is nasty. A spin rate close to 2,000. Those 3 pitches combined are why he is so dominant on the hill. The 0-2, just high for ball number 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Poles. Logan has a 1-0 record and has allowed, get this, just 1 extra base hit in a Studs uniform. Looking for another strikeout. The 1-2. High heat just misses for ball number 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Poles. Poles, the only batter to reach not on an error. He reached on a walk to start the game. It was a 4-pitch walk by Tyler Logan, but since then, it's been all smooth sailing here in the 2-5-3. Poles looking to get something going here for the Merchants in the top of the third. The 2-2. A wave and a miss for strike 3. A drop third strike over to first, and it's another strikeout here for Tyler Logan. 6 strikeouts here through 3 innings of work. And it'll be the Studs who will have a chance to add on. They're up 2-0 here early on, going to the bottom of the third. Testing, testing.
Mariners are down by 2 in the bottom of the 8th. 5-3. Come on, Aiden.
Welcome back into the broadcast. The bottom of the third gets going underway, and the first pitch is up high for ball number 1.
For some reason, I thought he was going to call that.
Dance waves his bat a few times. The next offering inside for ball number 2. Count moves 2 balls and no strikes. Here to Dance. The 2-0. Fouled back. Count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike now. And Dance was hit by a pitch in his first time up. This is just his second game in a Studs uniform. His first game was yesterday against the Dudes. He had a base hit, was 1 for 4. As the next offering comes in, a hearted ball into deep left field. That ball is going at the track, at the wall, and it is caught. He got a hold of that one, but it just died at the last moment. Tyler Bugabee with a nice play, and Aiden Dance with a long fly out. So that will be the first out here in the bottom of the third. And now that'll bring up Makana Murishige. Now batting number 8, Makana Murishige. So Murishige steps back in. A loud first out. Aiden Dance just missed that one. As the next pitch comes in, it's up high for ball number 1. Goodness gracious, he got a hold of that. The launch angle maybe just a little bit too steep on that one. That ball went to the moon and back as the 1-0 pitch comes in. Ground ball up the middle. It's going to be a tough play for the shortstop. The throw is not going to be made. Makana Murishige too fast out there on the base pass, and he will be rewarded with an infield hit. So it's an infield single for Murishige. And now that'll bring up Ben Schnurman. Now batting number 35, Ben Schnurman. So Schnurman steps in. Runner now on first. 1 out. Studs are up 2-0 here in the bottom of the third. Larson looks in and gets the sign. The first offering, a swing and a miss for strike number 1. Schnurman took a half-hearted swing on that one. That pitch was out of the zone. But instead, Schnurman swings at it and is 0-1. Schnurman takes a big, deep breath and is ready for the next offering. From the belt, the stretch and the 0-1. Swing and a miss. And that was a big boy hack, but swung right through it, so the count moves 0-2. Ben Schnurman is the team leader in a variety of offensive statistics in hits, home runs, RBI, and average. He's killing the baseball, and there's a reason why he's hitting in the 4-hole. The 0-2, runner goes, fly ball, right field will go foul, so the count will stay the same. Schnurman hitting .416 on the year. Domination isn't even the right word to describe it. He has been superb for the Studs. Did strike out, though, in his last time up, trying to avoid that same fate. He's already down in an 0-2 hole. Makana Murishige over there at first takes his lead. The 0-2, line drive left field. On a hop, the third baseman can't make the play, and the shortstop comes over, collects his mistake, but it will be a hard hit infield single for Schnurman. That ball was hit on a rope, and the one hopper was unable to be made by Easton Leonard, and Schnurman will be rewarded with the infield single. So back-to-back infield base hits for the Studs, and now that'll bring up Isaiah Afwerk, who prior to this inning had the only base hit of the day for the Studs. Now batting number 8, Isaiah Afwerk. So Afwerk steps in. Runners on first and second. The first offering, off-speed pitch, catches the top of the zone for strike number 1. A big spot here for the Studs. Need to capitalize. Up 2-0, trying to continue to bury the Merchants. Bottom of the third. The 0-1 outside for ball number 1. A fastball was just yanked a little bit too hard from the righty Caden Larson. This count moves to 1 ball and 1 strike. Larson looks in. Runners take their lead. Takes a peek over there at second. Runner goes. The double steal. The throw over to third. And he is safe. Makana Murishige with another stolen base. He slides right under the glove of Easton Leonard. It was a nice throw by the catcher, Nate Davis, but just slightly too far up the line. And that will cause Murishige to be able to swipe right under the glove of Leonard. So now there will be runners at second and third. 2 balls, 1 strike here to Afwerk. The 2-1. Chopper over to third base. The throw over to first is way above the first baseman's glove. 1 run will score. Afwerk will reach second. Schnurman over to third, and the Studs are up big this one. 3-0 Seattle here over Everett. So it'll be an E5. Easton Leonard just sailed that one, and now that'll bring up Jack Bergstrom. Now batting number 5, Jack Bergstrom. So Bergstrom steps up with 2 runners in scoring position for the Studs. Studs are already up 3-0 as the first pitch comes up high for ball number 1. Just 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Caden Larson's got to lock in and try to keep the score at just 3-0. Looks in and gets the sign. The 1-0 offering is down the heart of the plate for strike number 1. Bergstrom caught looking on a fastball up in the middle of the zone. Jack Bergstrom is hitting 6th in this lineup, but he is having himself a season to say the least as the 1-1 pitch fires in to ground ball off Bergstrom's foot. So it's a foul ball. Bergstrom will drop the bat, and he's in some pain. He's going to try to walk that one off. And as he does, I'm going to compliment him. Bergstrom hitting .397 on the year. That's the second highest average, trailing just Ben Schnurman in that statistic for the Studs. And hitting in the 6 hole, he could be hitting first for sure with a strikeout rate at just 16%. Absolutely crazy stuff for Bergstrom. And his last time up, he walked. So his first true appearance at the plate. But he is down 1-2. Runners on second and third. The 1-2, and that's another foul ball. Bergstrom just stays alive, but that's what he does best. Bergstrom just able to battle, put bat to ball, and eventually will just grind out the pitcher until he gets a pitch he likes, and then we'll put it in play. And what happens from there happens. But Bergstrom, he rarely strikes out, which means he makes the defense beat him. And at this level of baseball, which is still obviously super high, but not the major leagues by any means, good things usually happen when you put the ball in play. Afwerk at second, Schnurman at third. They take their leads. The 1-2. Foul ball once more. So 3 straight foul balls for Bergstrom, and the count will stay at 1-2. Speaking of major leagues, the Mariners are in the bottom of the 9th currently, and they are trailing the Toronto Blue Jays 5-3 up at T-Mobile Stadium as the 1-2 pitch is outside for ball number 2. There's already 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. You got Luke Raley up there. The Mariners need to try to scrape across a couple here in the bottom of the 9th. It was a dormant offense for most of the game for the Mariners. Just 5 hits as the 2-2 pitch comes in. A weakly hit ball towards the shortstop. The throw over to first is past the first baseman's glove. It skips in. He can't make the dig. And Bergstrom will head on over to second base. It's going to be an E6, which causes 2 runs to score. My goodness, that was a huge blunder by the shortstop Axel Puls. And Bergstrom will reach on an error. Already the third error for this defense for the Merchants. Now batting, number 25, Bryce Foster. So Foster with one runner in scoring position. The Studs are now up 5-0. The first offering fouled back for strike number 1. I mean, the Studs they do not beat themselves. And in the Pacific International League, the quality of teams are good, yes. But the Studs just continually find themselves in positions where they just allow the opponent to beat themselves. As the next offering comes in, down low for ball number 1. Let's just put this into context. The Studs are up 5-0. They have 5 runs on the day. But how many base hits? Just the 3. As the 1-0 pitch comes in there for strike number 1. The Studs 3 base hits. 2 of them were infield singles. And the 1 true base hit was still potentially possible, although a tough play Axel Puls would have needed to make. So right there, I mean, this game could have very easily been a no-hitter. Right now in the bottom of the third. Instead, the Studs up 5-0 as the next offering comes in. It's a swing and a miss for Bryce Foster, and he will go down on strikes. So it's a strikeout here for Caden Larson. He continues to tally up the Ks. It is now his 6th strikeout on the game, and that'll bring up the DH, Zach Robman. Bergstrom over there at second. He takes his lead. 2 outs. The pitch in there for strike number 1. Now batting number 28, Zach Robman. So Robman takes a few practice swings. Steps back in, and Larson gets the sign. Down 0-1. Takes a peek over there at second, the 0-1. Fly ball. Left field. Baby coming under it, and he makes the grab for out number 3. So the side is retired, but the Studs will grab 3 runs here in the bottom of the third. The Seattle Cheney Studs are up 5-0, going to the top of the 4th over the Everett Merchants. We'll be right back.
He struck out. Thanks. I missed it. I was looking down and I missed this thing. Sorry about that. I was looking down. I was changing a play and I was changing something and I looked down right at the wrong time. Sorry about that. I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. I just looked down wrong. That happened more than I thought. Okay, hold on. I looked down wrong. I admitted it. Okay. 3 runs, 2 hits, 2 errors, and we have a man left. I was looking down on I changed to just like Jackson, just like our RBI, and I took from 1 to 2. I was thinking about it. Okay, got it. 10. No, wait a minute. Who is 10? Oh, it is 10. Never mind. I thought somebody was up. Sorry. I looked at the wrong. No, wait a minute. Hold it. That's not right. It's like 55, so sorry. I looked at 10 and I didn't see.
What'd you say?
55. I looked at the wrong guy.
It's the same pitch though, right?
It should be then it should be Scholl. Number like 55. I looked at 10 and I didn't know it.
Oh, is this a new batter?
Yeah, 55.
What's his name? Oh, Shull.
Yeah.
Welcome back into the broadcast. The Seattle Genie Studs are up 5-0 over the Everett Merchants. And it is Tyler Logan who is dealing on the bump right now for the Studs. Through 3 innings of work, he's picked up 6 strikeouts, as the first pitch comes up and outside for ball number 1. 6 strikeouts, 0 hits, 0 earned runs. Has issued just the 1 walk. Domination on the hill. The 1-0 skips in for ball number 2. 2 balls in, no strikes. Up at the plate for the Merchants is the second baseman, Jonah Schull. He struck out in his last time up in the first inning. As the next offering comes in, a swing and a miss. Jonah Schull swings right through it. His bat turned into Swiss cheese on that one. That ball just disappeared. A nice changeup by Tyler Logan. And the count will now be 2-1. The next offering is up on high for ball number 3. So a hitter's count here to Schull. Schull's hitting .333 on the season so far for the Merchants. Been killing baseballs out there. Tyler Logan looking to throw a strike here. The hitter's count. And it's up high for ball number 4. Schull will take his free base. It's the second inning that Tyler Logan has walked the lead off batter. Last time Axel Poles gave him a gift and said, here, I'll be a free out, and got caught in a pickle in a big base running blunder. Potential game-changing blunder as the next pitch comes in. It's a fly ball up behind the catcher, and that will run foul. But now Jonah Schull will be at first base and looking to not make that same mistake that Poles did. The 0-1 count here to the DH, Rutger Youch. He struck out his last time up. Logan takes a peek over there at first base, and he does fire over to Schnerman at first. Getting back in plenty of time is Schull. Runner at first. Does up 5-0 here in the top of the 4th. The pitch is up and outside for ball number 1. The Studs have been dominant here in the PIL. They've lost just twice this whole season in the Pacific International League, as the 1-1 pitch is in there for strike number 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. If you remove the Alaska and Canada road trips, which were both successful in their own means. Canada, you lost in the championship game, unfortunate. And Alaska was some tough sledding up there, but you lost close a few different times, won a ball game. Impressive stuff as well. As the 1-2 pitch comes in, a swing and a miss for strike number 3. Youch, like a hot knife through butter, swings right through it. And that's back-to-back strikeouts for Rutger Youch. And Tyler Logan now picks up his 7th K on the day. Still has not given up a base hit here through 3 2/3. Keaton Fisher, the first baseman, now steps in from the left side of the plate. Runner over there at first takes his lead. The first offering is a foul ball for strike number 1. Fisher steps back in. The next offering is downstairs for ball number 1. Looking in. Takes a peek over there at first. Gets the sign from Bergstrom, and it's a throw over to first base. Just want to make sure that Jonah Schull doesn't go anywhere. Keep the leash short. Make sure he doesn't get a little too greedy over there. There's not a pickoff max attempt like there is in the MLB, so he can throw over there as much as he wants. As the next pitch comes in, a nice block by Bergstrom, who makes a nice play. Bergstrom usually doesn't play catcher, although he has this season. He hasn't in a while. Romero was meant to play today at the catcher position, but A.J. Romero tested positive for COVID this morning, so now it's up to Jack Bergstrom to step in and be the catcher as the 2-1 pitch comes up and high and swinging right through it is Fisher. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, looking for back-to-back Ks is Tyler Logan. Would be his 8th of the game. Coming into this game, already had a K through 9 of 10. As the 2-2 pitch comes in, it's a ground ball over towards the second baseman. A nice play and a toss over to first in time for out number 2. In the process, Schull moves on over to second base. And that will bring up the center fielder, Jaden Piper. Studs up 5-0. Here in the top of the 4th inning, the Merchants got to start chopping that wood down and start climbing back into this ball game if they want a chance to be a really disciplined Studs team. But Tyler Logan having none of that. The next offering outside for ball number 1. Tyler Logan hails from Curtis High School, 6'1", 205. Was all league last year as a freshman for Tacoma Community College. And looks in the 1-0. A check swing. Did he go? It's a strike either way, says the home plate umpire. So the count moves to 1 ball and a 1 strike. Runner on second in scoring position. From the bell, the 1-1. Fly ball right field. Slicing foul. It will be a foul ball. Count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. And selfishly, Tyler Logan was probably happy that ball went foul. He's looking for another K. It would be his 8th strikeout of the day. Logan looks in and gets the sign. Behind 1-2 is Jaden Piper, heading 308 on the year. Can he make something happen, or can Logan strike out his 8th? Looks in. The 1-2. Hard hit ball right at the second baseman, who makes a nice stop. The throw over to first in time, and the side is retired. Tyler Logan, 0 hits through 4 innings of work, 7 strikeouts, and the Studs are up big in this one. Studs up 5-0 over the Merchants. We'll be back in the bottom of the 4th right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, we got Jake, Drew, and Aiden. 9-1-2. Did they change pictures? Yes. They got a new picture.
New guy?
Number just like 1-5.
15.
Oh, okay. It's the guy who I can't say. The guy who is, I can't say the name right.
Can't see.
He's just like Mexican, I think. I'm not sure that's where he's from, but
What is it?
Sepulveda.
Okay.
That's his last name, and his first name is. Let me see if I get down to where his number is. I'm not gonna say his name better. Eumir, Eumir. That's his first name. Last name is Sepulveda. Think he's a Mexican, or he's somewhere.
Can't find him. Sorry, what can I see him?
Yeah, I just don't know how to. Yeah, I can't see you. I can show you on this.
You're good.
This is really so easy. Just easy. Just like the yeah, come on. Since I find the arrow again.
Now batting for the Studs, number 18, Jake Gallagher. Welcome back into the broadcast. The first pitch here in the bottom of the fourth inning, comes in. And it's a ball up high here to Jake Gallagher. The next pitch, a line drive into right field, will get down in front of the right fielder out there. Christian LaPierre collects it. And it'll be a single for Jake Gallagher. And now that'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Drew Kamihara. Struck out twice. Needs to find himself a base hit. And now batting, number 4, Drew Kamihara. So Kamihara steps in. Gallagher over there takes his lead at first. The throw in there, a bunt laid down, and it's popped to the pitcher. Gallagher promptly gets back to second, and Kamihara will go down as a bunt to the pitcher. And speaking of pitcher, Sepulveda steps in for the Merchants. A right-handed throwing pitcher, Christian Sepulveda is his name. He's bounced around the minor leagues and now plays for the Merchants. The next pitch is inside for ball number 1. Went to the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Was born in New York City. The next pitch fires in, down low, for ball number 2. Studs up 5-0. Looks in. The 2-0 to dance. Fly ball into center field. Giving chase is the shortstop. It'll be the center fielder who makes... No, he does not make the play. He drops the ball. And that went right in to the Bermuda Triangle in between the shortstop, second baseman, left fielder, and right fielder. The shortstop might have had an easier play, but instead it's Jaden Piper who tries to make the heroic dive, and instead it'll go down as a base hit. Now batting number 8, Makana Murishige. So now runners on first and second. Murishige steps in. The first offering in there for strike number 1. 1 out here to Murishige, batting .355 on the year, leading the whole team with 19 stolen bases. Had 3 today. If he gets on the base path, watch him make it 20. So the next offering comes in, and this is a fly ball out towards the shortstop. Pulls, ranges under it, and makes the play for out number 2. That'll bring up Ben Sherman. Sherman 1 for 2 with an infield hit. Now batting number 35, Ben Sherman. So runners now on first and second for Sherman. A big spot here for the Studs to continue to pile it on over the Merchants. Already up 5-0. The first offering. Check swing, but it's a strike either way. 0-1. Here in the bottom of the 4th. Studs up 5-0. The pitch is up high for ball number 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Looks in, gets the sign. The pitch, ground ball over towards the shortstop, making the tough play. The throw over to second, not in time. Aiden Dance had a great beat on the ball, left, right when that bat hit the baseball, and will move over to second in time. A nice stop at his knees made by Axel Poles, but it'll go down as an infield base hit for Schnerman. Back-to-back infield knocks. And now that'll bring up number 23, Isaiah Afwerk with the bases juice. The first offering watches a strike down the middle of the plate. Now batting number 23, Isaiah Afwerk. Runners are everywhere. The 0-1. Ground ball towards the shortstop. A toss over to second base is in time for out number 3. So 3 runners are stranded here in the bottom of the 4th. The Studs will get no runs, but still up 5-0 over the Everett Merchants going into the top of the 5th.
On his name.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew I had something that and it's time for me to check on this one. The other thing is why top of 5 should be the catcher. Did we change pictures?
No.
No.
No, we did.
Yeah, we did. Did we take pictures? There's like a 3 on the back.
Let's see. 31.
31.
Peter Herrick? Peter?
What?
Herrick?
Okay.
What's his name? What's his first name?
I thought it was a different person. I'm like, look at going.
What's his first
That's
name?
not Tyler. Huh?
What?
31.
Yeah, P. Herrick.
Oh yeah.
What's his first name?
I don't really just remember him, and that's my problem. Some of those other numbers I just don't really remember. Okay.
Peter Herrick.
Should be number 5 up first. Like I said, the last time I put was I'm locked up at so that's like he was using. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm not sure the ball is straight thing. I'm not quite straight down. If you want me to keep the ball straight, I'm just like too many things put ball in the head. I can't hit that fast enough. Whoops!
One for the guy.
Whoops!
Welcome back into the broadcast. We're going to the 5th inning here, and Peter Herrick will take over for the Seattle Studs. Herrick was a redshirt freshman last year for Edmonds Community College, and this year for the Studs, he's thrown 11 1/3 innings, has a 1.5 ERA, given up 9 base hits, and has a 1-0 record. As the pitch comes in, and it catches the black for strike number 1. Herrick, a right-handed thrower, hails from Puyallup, Washington. Looks in and gets the sign. The 0-1. That pitch looked oddly similar to the last one, which was called a strike, but might have just been a little bit more outside, so the count moves to 1 ball and 1 strike now. The 1-1. A big hack and a miss for Nate Davis. Count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Davis reached on an error his previous time up. Looking to get his first base hit of the day. Looking to pick up his first strikeout. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike number 3. A big strikeout here for Peter Herrick. And that will now be 8 strikeouts combined between Tyler Logan and Peter Herrick. A pitching clinic going on here in Puget Sound Lager Stadium. The pitchers are making mincemeat of this Everett Merchants lineup. As the next pitch comes in, it's a curveball which catches the outside part of the plate for strike number 1. My goodness, has this been a dominant showing for the Studs as the 0-1 comes inside for ball number 1. Still 0 base hits for the Merchants, and I'll leave it at that. Don't want to, say anything too soon. Looks in. The 1-1. A fly ball towards center field. Kamihara moves under it and makes the play for out number 2. So it's a quick 1-2 top of the 5th here for Peter Herrick. And that'll bring up Easton Leonard. Leonard hitting 200 on the day, playing third base today. Lined out his last time up to second base. Gallagher made a nice play. As the next offering comes in, it's a curveball down low for ball number 1. On that line drive, Gallagher had to climb the ladder a few rungs and snag that ball out of midair. It was a great play as the 1-0 pitch comes in down low for ball number 2. We have a final in Seattle. I know I'm not talking about the Studs. I'm talking about the Mariners. They narrowly lose 5-4 against the Toronto Blue Jays. As the 2-0 pitch comes way down low, skips in for ball number 3. The Mariners had a little bit of a late rally, had just 1 base hit going into the 8th inning, and they had 3 of their runs in the 8th. And then with 1 out, Luke Raley sent one into the left field stands for a home run to make it a 1-run game, but then promptly the Mariners could not get the job done and they lose. The 3-0 pitch comes in there for strike number 1. So the Seattle Mariners unable to get the win, but the Studs are in a prime position to get one here. The 3-1 is way up and in for ball number 4, so the quick inning will not be so. It's a walk to Easton Leonard, and it'll bring up the 9-hole hitter, Tyler Bugby. Bugby struck out his last time up. Bugby playing left field today. Has a shorter stature, hitting 250, wearing white batting gloves with the blue top and gray pants like most of the Merchants. As the next pitch comes in, the curveball just misses the top of the zone. Herrick wanted it, but the get me over curve just misses high. Blue skies here in Tacoma. Mount Rainier is out in center field. Slight, as a line drive goes right field foul. Slight wind from left to right. It is a hot day here in Tacoma. Uncharacteristically warm. 88 degrees. And that's the peak for the day. As the 1-1 pitch comes in. Down low for ball number 2. .88 degrees, but these players are battling, not letting it get to them at all. Credit to them because it is hot up here in the booth, and I got shade, so that's saying something. The 2-1 in there for strike number 2. Count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Herrick making a look at another K. His would be his second of the day. It'd be the 9th for the Studs as a team. The 2-2. Ground ball towards the shortstop. It's going to be a tough play. Foster, the toss across. Not in time. And it's an infield base hit and will be the first base hit of the ball game for the Everett Merchants. So the no-hitter ends there. A slowly hit chopper over to the shortstop, Foster, who, credit to Foster, he's playing by the grass in almost kind of shallow left field territory. But he charged that one, made a nice play, and just narrowly beating the throw was Tyler Bugabee. And now the lineup will turn over here to Axel Puls. Puls 0 for 1 of the day with a walk and a strikeout. Runners on first and second. One of the best opportunities the Merchants have had all day. Top of the lineup up with 2 runners on. The first offering. Fly ball left field goes foul. Will it hit my car? Let's hope not, because it's parked right over there. I don't hear any car alarms. Usually I park far away from the ballpark for that exact reason, but like I mentioned earlier, 88 degrees. My car doesn't have any AC, so you best believe I parked in one of the 5 parking spots that has shade. Unfortunately, that is right down the third base line. Risky territory for sure. The 0-1 in there for strike number 2. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to beat the heat. I remember playing baseball games in the summertime when it was so hot. I could barely think. I could barely move. I was sweating bullocks. So impressed with these players. Just making it look easy out there. Making it look like it's just a 65-degree ball game. As the 0-2 pitch comes in, fouled off. Count will stay there. So runners on first and second. Studs up 5-0 here in the top of the 5th. Axel Puls down in the count. Has already struck out once tonight. Peter Herrick making a look at his second strikeout of the game. The 0-2. High fastball is fouled off. And that lands in the parking lot once again. Count will stay at 0-2. Bugabee over there at first. Leonard at second. Will look to be a quick inning. Has turned into a long, draining outing here for Peter Herrick. Trying to get out of it here. The 0-2 is up high and outside for ball number 1. This will be the 6th pitch of the AB on just the 1-2 count. Battling up there is Axel Puls. He doesn't have a .393 batting average for no reason. He has great bat-to-ball skills, plays shortstop, and has a big opportunity here. The 1-2. Line drive right back towards the shortstop, who makes a nice play. The toss over to second in time for out number 3. So retiring the side is Peter Herrick. The Merchants leave 2 runners on off of 1 base hit and a walk. The Studs up 5-0 going into the bottom of the 5th. Don't go anywhere. Studs looking at on.
Who's Jack? Number just like 15. Oh, same guy. Did I not put this guy in already? Oh no, okay. Trying to find out who it was that I didn't put in. I have it. Just took that one off. Yeah, he's from Mexico, or else he has to just like played in Mexico. I'm not sure.
It's an ex-pro.
What?
Ex-pro.
Yeah, he did export, but I think it was also was from the. I think he was from the just like Mexican league though too. Which is a pro league.
Yeah. Yep, you're right.
Everybody feels like it's starting to melt. There's a little bit of
So hot.
it's a little bit of a breeze, but a slow breeze inside here. Without keeping the door by today. Bergstrom, Foster, Robin, almost just a Rodman.
Welcome back into the broadcast, the bottom of the fifth, and it'll be Jack Bergstrom who will lead us off as the first offering is up and inside for ball number one. Bergstrom 0 for 1 on the day. As the next pitch comes in, it's a high fly ball over towards the center field. Who makes the catch is Jaden Piper for out number 1. So now that'll bring up Bryce Foster. 0 for 2 on the day with a line out in the first and then a strikeout. Now batting, number 25, Bryce Foster. So bring up Bryce Foster. He steps in. The first pitch is in there for strike number 1. Catches the bottom part of the plate. Foster playing shortstop today, but he can do so much on the diamond as the next offering comes in. It's a ground ball up and towards the second baseman. Trying to beat it out is Foster, but he will get beat by a half a step for out number 2. I was going to say Foster played shortstop, but is listed as a pitcher. And despite being listed as a pitcher, has made 0 errors out there in the field this whole season. It's been locked down from the shortstop position until today, where he made his first error. As the next pitch comes in there up high for ball number 1. Now batting will be the DH, Zach Robin. Robin 0 for 2 on the day as the next pitch comes in, and early on, Robin has a 1-1 count. Zach Robin hitting .273 on the year, but kind of an up and down player as the 1-1 pitch comes in, and that hits him. So he will reach first base. So Robin will stay 0-2 with a strikeout. Robin entering this game had a 50% K rate, the highest on the team. But when he puts the ball in play, they're usually base hits. And now that'll bring up Jake Gallagher. Now batting number 18, Jake Gallagher. So Gallagher will step in. Over there at first, Robin will take a pretty hearty lead. Looking in is Emer Sepulveda. Takes a look. The first offering. Hard hit ground ball right at the shortstop. Puls tries to find it. The toss into second is not in time. So Axel Puls could not make the clean stop. Was looking around to find that baseball. And by the time he found it, Robin already was at second. Now batting number 4, Drew Kamihara. So now that'll bring up Kamihara. With a couple of outs, the Studs are trying to make some 2-out magic happen. The Studs are famous for making things happen with 2 outs, and Kamihara, the perfect guy to make something happen. The first offering is a strike, number 1. Kamihara in a little bit of a slump as of late. Did not pick up a hit last night. And then the only base hit on the 4th was a bunt single. And then today he's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Trying to avoid that same fate. The 0-1. And that's in there for strike number 2. So Kamihara cannot catch a break. Quickly down 0-2. Studs up 5-0 here in the bottom of the 5th. Runners are on first and second. The 0-2 pitch. Inside outside swing, opposite field, line drive towards the left fielder, and that will be a catch out there in left field. A nice play by Tyler Buckleby, and it will be out number 3. So Drew Kamihara makes some loud contact, but it will not matter. The Studs still up 5-0 though, going into the top of the 6th inning over the Everett Merchants.
Just a third out at second. He wasn't that far away from him. Okay, who's up? Sure, he's like 55 to 8. I know. He's supposed to be a different number, which is why I have to look at him. This does Peter, right? Yeah, it should be Peter, yeah. 41. It's only 55, but his plate street number is a different number on this thing, so I have to look. Okay. And 6. So what was the name in the final?
5-4. Loss.
5-4.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Welcome back into the broadcast. The top of the 6th inning awaits us. Peter Herrick up there on the bump and facing Jonah Schultz. The first pitch comes in, a swing and a miss for strike number 1. A slider ran off the plate and caught Jonah Schultz swinging. Studs up 5-0 over the Merchants. Domination on all sides of the ball, giving up just 1 base hit as the pitching staff collectively as the 0-1 comes in, and that goes in there for strike number 2. And a big reason why this pitching staff has been so dominant has been the ability to throw strikes, and it all comes back to that. Let the hitters beat you. Do not beat yourself as the 0-2 pitch comes in and a waste pitch bounces in for ball number 1. And Peter Herrick, along with Tyler Logan, have both been so good today. Really setting the bar high for whoever replaces Peter Herrick after this. As the 1-2 pitch comes in, a swing and a miss for strike number 3. Herrick, nastiness out there on the mound, and that is a strikeout. Will be his 2nd K of the game. The 9th strikeout for the Studs. I'll bring up Rutger Youch, the DH. The first pitch comes in, and it's a foul ball for strike number 1. 1 out, 0-1 here to Youch. Youch trying to avoid the golden sombrero. 0-for-2 with a couple of Ks on the game. Hitting just a $182 on the year. And I was entering this game, so it's probably a little bit lower than that even. The 0-1 to Youch. Outside for ball number 1. Youch. What a fun last name. Rutger Youch. Combining a school and then couch, but then with a Y. Interesting. As the 1-1 pitch comes in, it's a hard hit fly ball out there towards center field. Kamihara makes the play look easy. He ranges under it, sticks his glove up, and makes the out number 2. So 2 outs here, and Keaton Fisher will now step up. He was hitting 387 entering today, but has grounded out twice, once to the shortstop and once to Gallagher over at second. Studs up 5-0. The Merchants offense has been shut down for the most part of this entire game. Just one base hit on the day. The next offering, it's a foul ball back behind the plate. Fisher swings his bat a few times. Has a black helmet with red stripes on it. Bright red batting gloves. He's got the flash. Does his game back it up? The ball comes outside. So he's up on the count 1-1. Excuse me. Apparently I'm too tired to realize that 1-1 is not up. It's actually even. Turns out 1 and 1 is the same number. The 1-1. Fouled back, and now it's Peter Herrick who's up in the count. You see, that time I got my arithmetic right. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That means that the pitcher would have more strikes than balls, which means he'd be up in the count. And that's why I'm a broadcaster and not a math major. What I do know, though, is the Studs have 9 strikeouts on the game. Making to look at number 10. The pitch. Ground ball over toward the second baseman. It's going to be a tough play, and it'll be no play at all. Gallagher tries to make the diving effort, but the ball skips off the very end of his glove. Gallagher's kicking himself, but that will go down as a base hit. Would have been a tough play out there by Gallagher, and it'll go down as the second base hit of the ball game for the Merchants. And now that'll bring up the center fielder, Jaden Piper. Piper 0 for 2 on the day. Has himself a strikeout and grounded out to second. The first offering is up high for ball number 1. 1-0. Herrick looks in, gets the sign. The 1-0, swing and a miss for strike number 1. Looks in. The 1-1, throw over to first instead, trying to keep Keaton Fisher at bay. He's a speedy base runner over there at first with 2 outs. A steal seems somewhat obvious from the Merchants. Let's see if he tries to do so. The 1-1. Check swing off his bat, but it'll end up rolling down the first base line, and it will just go foul. So kind of an interesting series of events. Jaden Piper kind of just checks his swing, but the ball, which was a fastball that ran up and in, still ends up hitting kind of the midsection of his bat. And that ball slowly rolled down the line, was kissing the white the whole time, but then last second moved foul before Sherman could grab it. The 1-2, swing and a miss for strike 3. The third strikeout of the game for Peter Herrick. The 10th K for the Studs as a team. And the Seattle Cheney Studs are up 5-0. After 5.5 innings of play, going into the bottom of the 6th inning, the Studs looking to add on. It's the Studs 5, the Merchants nothing. We'll be back right after this.
I thought Spencer was going to do a defensive lineman move on that one.
Yeah. He would have had the size to do it.
What? I looked at him and went, whoa. Okay, it's the same guy. Okay, got it. Who's up? Aiden. Oh, I gotta stand up a little bit. Oh, my ass is getting sore. You guys should have missed it. I gotta do my butt dance. I sit too long. I got I got natural padding, but after a while, even the natural padding's not enough. Oh.
Where's
Oh.
Ringer at?
What?
Ringer. John?
He's probably out for the year because of his eye, and he also did something on his arm.
Garrett Ringer did? Wow.
His ringer's out for the year, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, his ringer's out for the little bag up with the crane up in Alaska.
No way.
Because he got the booster hurt.
Welcome into the broadcast. Bottom of the 6th. Here we go. The first pitch comes in, and it hits him. Aiden Dance will reach first base on a hit by pitch, his second hit by pitch of the ball game. It's been a productive day for Aiden Dance. He's 1 for 1, has reached base 3 times. That'll bring up Makana Morishige. Now batting number 8, Makana Morishige. So still up there on the mound for the Merchants is Emer Sepulveda. The first pitch, runner goes. Dance slides into second, but the throw is in time for the out. A nice toss by Nate Davis. Aiden Dance, all he can do is jog back to the dugout. And it's a rare caught stealing by the Studs, who are usually so good on the base paths. But once in a while, those things will happen. Aiden Dance getting a little bit too greedy, and that will be out number 1. The pitch to Morishige. A strike down the middle of the plate. 1-1. Studs up 5-0. Morishige 1 for 3 on the day. The next pitch, a chopper over there towards short. It's going to be a tough play. The throw over to first is not in time. Makana Morishige turns on the burners and will beat him by a step. That ball was hit directly into the earth and then rebounded and went about 30 feet in the air, and it would have been a tough play by Axel Puls, who did all he could, but Morishige just too fast. Now batting number 35, Ben Schnurman. So Morishige will be over there at first. Schnurman steps in. 1 for 2 on the day. The pitch. Line drive left field will get down. Schnurman will reach. And Schnurman will now be 2 for 4 on the day. And now that'll bring up Isaiah Afwerk. Runners on first and second now. Now batting number 23, Isaiah Afwerk. So early on, Sepulveda getting hit pretty bad here in the bottom of the 6th. The pitch misses high for ball 1. Afwerk, 1 for 2 on the day. The 1-0. A wave and a miss for strike number 1. A nice off-speed pitch made Afwerk look silly on that one. Afwerk steps back in. Schnurman over there at first. Morishige, a speedy runner, over there at second. Studs already up 5-0, looking to add on here in the bottom of the 6th. Sepulveda looks in, gets the sign, takes a peek over at second. The leg kick and the throw. A wave and a miss for strike number 2. Back-to-back times, Afwerk was caught looking at a slider and was halfway in between holding his swing and a full swing. 2 swords. Sepulveda making a look at 3 straight. Afwerk down to the count. The 1-2. Another slider. He goes back to the well. This time, Afwerk spits on it. Count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Runners on first and second. Afwerk stands in there like a statue. ready to hit that baseball. The only thing moving is his bat, waving back and forth. The 2-2, another outside pitch. Looked like a fastball. Now the count will run full. So a big spot here for the Studs to really put away the Merchants. Already up 5-0 in the bottom of the 6th. Nobody out. And Afwerk with a big chance. 1 out. The next pitch, fly ball towards the second baseman, an infield fly rule, so that would have been an out regardless, but making the play will be Jonah Schull. So that'll be the second out of the game. And now that'll bring up Jack Bergstrom. Now hitting number 5, Jack Bergstrom. Bergstrom 0 for 1 on the day with a walk and reached on an error. So it was reached twice. With a couple of outs, looking for a big base hit. Murashige over there at second, Schnerman at first. The late kick and the offering. A swing and a miss for strike number 1. Bergstrom swings right through that one, and that's a rarity. Bergstrom almost always making contact. Like I mentioned earlier, just a 16% K rate. Entered the game, 397 batting average. The next pitch, 0-1, ground ball towards the second baseman. Bergstrom really turned on the burners, but will be just thrown out on the flip from Jonah Schull to Keaton Fisher. And that will retire the side. So the Studs will not add on in the bottom of the 6th. We're going top 7. Merchants nothing. Studs 5. Another Herrick. T. Herrick. Who's that?
The hell is my L 33.
Who's the other Herrick?
Toy Herrick, just to make sure that you really do. Toy. I'm gonna put T Herrick on there. Toy Herrick.
I don't think I've seen Torn Herrick yet. Torn.
I just
Studs.
thinking it was somebody else, and I knew that I was like, okay, who's up?
Goes to Davidson.
95. I had like first out in the book. I forgot to put it up on the board. I went, I thought I had it out. Yes, it is. Thank you. I had it in the book. I forgot to put it on the board. That was not my big thing. Toy Herrick. Chloe. I took it. I thought I did city. No. I had to go home and I had to do that work. Last night came over again. Not fun. For some reason they gave me that like that 9:30.
Welcome back into the broadcast. Taking over for Peter Herrick on the hill is his brother, Torrin Herrick. And when I said there were big shoes to fill after the 2 outings from Tyler Logan and Peter Herrick, what better way to fill the shoes than put the same DNA in them? Probably is the same shoe size. A hard throw-in 6'4" righty from Auburn, Washington, Torrin Herrick. 6'4", 210 goes to Davidson College. A nice player. And great things for the Studs as the first pitch, a curveball, gets away from him for ball number 1. Studs up 5-0 here in the top of the 7th inning. The Merchants trying to scrape across a run, excuse me. Just 2 hits to the ball game so far. As the next pitch comes in and it just misses down low for ball number 2. Up there in the batter's box for the Merchants is Nate Davis. As the 2-0 pitch comes in, fouled back for ball or strike number 1, excuse me. Davis reached on an error and struck out. Hitting just 176 on the year so far, but is playing elite defense at the catcher position just throughout the speedy Aiden Dance last inning. Probably saved a run while doing so. The 2-1 outside for the 3rd ball. Hitter's count here, 3 balls and 1 strike. Torn Herrick looks in, gets the sign. The 3-1. In there for strike number 2. Catches the block on the outside half of the plate. And Herrick making a look at 11 strikeouts for the Studs. Would be his first of the day. Torn Herrick looks in. The 3-2. Check swing. Did he go? He did not. And Nate Davis earned that walk. And it'll be a leadoff walk here in the 7th inning. The 3rd time this game there was leadoff walks given up by the Studs, but it translated to 0 runs for the Merchants. And coming up next is Christian LaPierre. And outside of Rutger Yauch, that's got to take the cake for the 2nd best name between these 2 teams. The next pitch is outside for ball number 1. LaPierre. 0-for-2 with a strikeout. Hitting .333 on the year. Sounds kind of French. LaPierre. I can tell myself that. I speak a little bit of French as the next pitch comes in for strike number 1. Take some in college. I lived in Switzerland for 6 years in my younger days. Learned some French over there. Not much, though, I will admit. Definitely not fluent by any means, but I can understand a fair amount as the 1-1 comes in outside for ball number 2. Speaking of Switzerland, they lost a heartbreaker today against England in the Euros. They got eliminated in the quarterfinals on penalties. I was up watching that one. My heart was jumping around for 2 hours of action as the 2-1 goes upstairs for ball number 3. The Swiss took the lead in the 75th minute, I believe, and then just 5 minutes later, England responds. And from there, a few chances both teams had, and then in penalty shootout, England went 5 for 5. Unfortunate. And the Swiss are knocked out because of it. The 3-1, runner goes. The strike called. The throw into second, not in time. So grabbing second base is Nate Davis. But it does find the strike zone. So now a 3-2 count. Torn Herrick trying to keep it a shutout here in Tacoma. The 3-2 here in the 3-1-5. Looks in. The pitch. Just misses down low. A nice pitch. Could have had LaPierre chase, but great discipline showed by the right fielder. And now there'll be runners on first and second. Nobody out. And Bergstrom will go up there and have a quick chat with Torn Herrick. Easton Leonard will now be up next. 0 for 1 on the day with a walk. Hitting 200 on the year. Hitting it from the right side of the plate. Herrick looks in and gets the sign. The first pitch. Outside for ball number 1. Back-to-back walks given up by Torrin Herrick, trying to just control the strike zone. Has good stuff, has to let the hitters beat him, cannot beat himself in this spot. Up 5, runners on first and second, and they take their lead. The 1-0 in there for strike number 1, and there's the fastball on the outer half of the plate we've all been waiting for. Count moves to 1 ball and 1 strike. Herrick takes a peek over at second. The throw to home plate. Did he go? He did not. So the check swing attempt. He did hold. So the count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike. Looks in. He hits the sign. Runners take their lead. The 2-1. Swing and a miss for strike number 2. A nice fastball on the inside corner of the plate. Got Leonard swinging. So now 1 strike away from picking up his first out and his first strikeout. Looks in, the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, the off-speed pitch. Got Leonard swinging right over it. And that will be the first strikeout of the game for Herrick. The 11th strikeout of the day for the Studs. Now that'll bring up Tyler Bugabee. Runners on first and second, 1 out. The double play ball is on for the left fielder who steps into the batter's box. Hitting .250 on the day, 1 for 2 with an infield base hit and a strikeout. The first offering, ground ball bounces up and off of Bugabee's foot. And Bugabee missed that one. It was a fastball down the middle, and he is yelling to himself. Definitely a hittable pitch. But Bugabee will have to step back in. Taps his bat a few separate times. Does the Ichiro pre-bat ritual. Shows his left hand to Herrick. Now is ready for the pitch. The pitch. In there. For strike number 2. And early on, Herrick is finding the strike zone. Torrin Herrick was unable to find the strike zone. Gave up back-to-back walks, but then started to find something last AB, and now is up 0-2. The next pitch just misses the zone. That one nearly kissed the black, but unfortunately, the umpire says no dice. So the count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Herrick looks in, looking to make it back-to-back Ks. The 1-2, and that is way outside, bounces in. A nice stop by Jack Bergstrom, and we've seen him make a number of those stops behind the plate. Listed as a catcher, but can play first base, DH. Hasn't been in there under home plate for a while. Wasn't meant to catch today. It was meant to be Romero, but he was caught with COVID. I say caught like it's like his fault. No, he has COVID. My apologies. So the 2-2 pitch comes in, and that's down low for ball number 3. COVID, not the same thing that it used to be for sure. More of just a common cold now, but still something that Romero is staying home from. So getting the call was Bergstrom, who's had a nice day behind the plate. So what was once 0-2 now turns into a full count. Herrick looks in. Gets the pitch and dials in on the 3-2. Fly ball out towards right center field. Giving chase is Afwerk, who will not make the play. He lost it in the sun. The throw is promptly made in, so everyone will just move up a base. And that'll go down as an E9. And Afwerk, it was a tough play, but definitely should have been made out there. So it's going to go down as an error, and Tyler Bugabee will reach. So 0-2 turns in to an E9 And now the bases are juiced. The Merchants' best chance of the ball game, and it's not close. Coming up, the top of the lineup with bases loaded. Herrick has to lock in here. Still has not given up a base hit, but has given up the 2 walks and the error in right. The first pitch, well up high for ball number 1. Torin Herrick looks in, cannot beat himself, has to continue to throw strikes. Down 1-0 early. Looks in, the 1-0, and that misses outside. Count moves to 2 balls and no strikes. There is nowhere to put Puls. The Studs up 5-0, but the bases are juiced. Here for the shortstop. He is 0 for 2 on the day with a walk and a strikeout, hitting .390 on the year. A big spot for Puls, a bigger one for Torin. The pitch, a swing and a miss for strike number 1. Count moves to 2 balls and a 1 strike. The shutout still alive, but will it be alive much longer? Axel Puls would like to say no. Torin Herrick wants to keep it that way. The 2-1. Thinks about going, but he did not. Count moves to 3 balls and 1 strike, and there's really only one place to put this next baseball, and that is in the strike zone. Bases loaded. There's nowhere to put Puls. Jonah Schull on deck with a .330 average. You do not want to face him up next. Bases are juiced. Runners take their lead. The 3-1 fouled back. And on a hitter's count, Axel Puls had the greenest of green lights. And green means go. Puls pulled the trigger on that one and just missed it. The count moves to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Potentially the most pivotal pitch of the ball game coming up. Runners take their lead. They are everywhere. Looking in his hair. The 3-2. Line drive right field will get down. 1 run will score. The throw into home will keep everyone moving up just 1 base. But it is a base hit and an RBI for Axel Puls here in the top of the 7th. So the bases are still loaded now, still just 1 out. Puls credited with an RBI, the only RBI of the game for the Merchants. And now all of a sudden things are getting a little more interesting. .5-1 now in the top of the 7th, and it's Tegan Eden out there, the pitching coach, talking to Herrick. A quick exchange of words, a big slap in the back, a high five, and a let's do this chant. Bergstrom has a few more words to say as Aiden steps back in the dugout. Bases are juiced. Here for Jonah Schull, hitting .330 on the year. The second baseman is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts and a walk in this one. The golden sombrero looms large over his head. Torin Herrick would love to place it on his forehead and say, here's your 3rd strikeout of the game, but first he's going to need to throw some strikes, and the first pitch will be fouled back for strike number 1, so a good start. Runners are everywhere. At first, Axel Puls. At second, Tyler Bugby. And at third, Christian LaPierre. The next pitch, foul tip. Excuse me, it was a check swing, and they said he didn't go. A close play. But either way, the count moved to 1 ball and 1 strike. Herrick looks in from the belt. The 1-1. Line drive, right center field. Coming on to it is the right fielder, Afwork, who makes the play. The throw in will be not in time, so 1 run will score. It's an RBI sac fly for Jonah Schull. And it's now 2 earned runs given up by Torin Herrick, but he does get the out. So now not out of the woods quite yet. Runners are on the corners with 2 outs. It's now the Studs 5 and the Merchants 2. And stepping in is Rutger Yauch. 0 for 3 on the day. Would love himself a base hit, excuse me. He also has the 2 strikeouts. And it's flown out to center. Herrick, the pitch. Runner fakes going, but instead scampers back to first base. 1-0. A big spot here for both teams. Tying run is at the plate. 1 runner in scoring position over there at third. A base hit would score him. Runners going on contact with 2 outs. The 1-0. Ground ball over towards the first baseman, Schnurman, who makes a nice play and will help Herrick out of this inning. So it's the 2 earned runs, but the Studs limit the damage here in the top of the 7th. They're up 5-2 now going into the bottom of the 7th inning. Hmm.
Oh well, I forget occasionally. That's the last reason my boy I get clearly go fast. I get clearly and go fast. Foster, Robin, and Gallagher. 7, 8, 9.
Now batting for the Seattle Genie Studs, number 25, Bryce Foster. Welcome back into the broadcast. The bottom of the 7th, Studs up 5-2 over the Merchants, and stepping in is Bryce Foster. Foster 0 for 2 on the day. Lined out and struck out as the first pitch comes in, and Foster watches a strike down the heart of the plate. 0-1. On deck, the DH Robman. The next offering. Hard hit ground ball right at the shortstop. The throw from Poles over to first beats Foster by a couple of steps for out number 1. Zach Robman will now step in. 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. Hitting a buck 88. Excuse me, he's hitting 273 on the year. Bryce Foster was hitting 188 as the windup in the first offering. A big swing and a miss for strike number 1. Robman, the DH today, can also play catcher as the 0-1 comes in. It's a slowly hit ground ball over towards the third baseman. The bare hand toss over to first is in time for out number 2. A nice play by Easton Leonard. Flashes the leather by not using it at all and makes the toss across look easy for out number 2. And now that'll bring up Jake Gallagher. Now batting number 18, Jake Gallagher. So Gallagher steps up with a couple of outs. It's a quick bottom of the 7th so far for the Studs, and it looks to be continuing to go that way as Gallagher watches the pitch down the middle of the plate for strike number 1. Bottom of the 7th, the Studs up 5-2 as the 0-1 pitch comes in, and that fastball finds the strike zone. It was smooth sailing for most of the game. Torn Herrick took over for the top of the 7th, and that smooth sailing turned rocky as the 0-2 pitch comes in, a swing and a miss. Goes down on 3 pitches is Gallagher. So in 7 pitches, Emer Sepulveda can walk back to the dugout, and the Studs defense has to go back out there on little rest and try to continue to fend off these Merchants. So Studs up 5-2 going to the top of the 8th. Don't go anywhere. We got a tight ball game on our hands.
New pitcher, PJ Bovich. You can always just tell him. Long hair. You can always tell PJ.
Yeah.
Except when I look at Derek fast, and I have to make sure that he's going up there. PJ. I know the Astros lost. Kill me. Check Angels beat the crap. Rangers won. Look at the Oakland A's game
What? Wow.
against the O's.
Yeah, they're good too.
19. Well, no, it was 1908 A's.
Yeah.
My team in January. Wow. Okay, good job.
Welcome back into the broadcast. Top of the 8th, PJ Moritz takes over as the first pitch comes in. A hard hit ball out there towards left center field. Ranging under it is the left fielder, Aiden Dance. And it's a quick 1 pitch, 1 out. Top of the 8th start. PJ Moritz goes to Long Island University over in New York. Had himself a pretty good year, so far for the Studs. As the next pitch comes in there for strike number 1. Moritz looks in the 0-1, skips in for ball number 1, 1 ball and a 1 strike. Moritz has pitched 5 games for the Studs, and every game he's pitched, the Studs have come away with a victory, looking to keep it that way. He's pitched 10 innings, 7 strikeouts as the next pitch comes in, and Moritz falls over as he delivers that pitch. But he stays on his feet, kind of an athletic tumble. And the count will move to 2 balls and 1 strike. So Moritz really uses his whole body, really rotates his hips and fires in. As the 2-1 comes in, and it finds the strike zone for strike number 2. Moritz's arm angle, his slot, a little bit lower than most pitchers. Kind of a sidearm hybrid with what you would consider a regular delivery would be. It's a little sporadic as he throws another ball, so count moves to 3 balls and 2 strikes. However, it's good to mix things up. That different arm slot makes it really tough on hitters. You face one guy, you start him off with a lefty, Tyler Logan, and then the 2 Herricks, and now you have this dude who has the weird arm slot, kind of mixes it up, makes it really tough for hitters to respond as the 3-2 pitch was fouled, so the count will stay right there. Moritz holds a 5.4 ERA despite only giving up a few hits this year. As the 3-2 pitch comes in outside for ball number 4, and that's one of the reasons he has a 5.4 ERA. despite only giving up 6 hits in 10 innings. And it's the walks. A very sporadic pitcher, to say the least. When he puts it in the strike zone, it's nastiness. Hitters can barely touch it. The problem is putting it in the zone, as Nate Davis will step back in. That was Jaden Piper who worked the walk. The next pitch comes in, down low, 1-0. It was a check swing. Bergstrom wanted it, but the second base umpire says no swing. Runner takes his lead. The throw and over to first. Not in time, but just keeping Piper at bay. Nate Davis, 0 for 2 with a walk as the next pitch comes in, and that hits him. So you cannot have this happening right now if you're the Studs. Clinging on to a 3-run lead, and the first 2 guys, the outcome is a walk and now a hit by pitch. And that'll bring up Christian Lapierre. It seemed like Lapierre was just up, and that's because he was. He batted in the 7th inning as well. Lapierre, 0 for 2 on the day with a walk. He walked his last time up. And the way the 7th inning started, so does the 8th. Back-to-back free passes in both innings. And it led to the 2 runs for the Merchants in the 7th. And now here in the 8th, PJ Moritz has got to try to find something. Double play ball is in full effect. The defense, double play depth. LaPierre steps in. The offer, the pitch. It's a bunt on the third base line. It's a beauty. The throw over to first is not in time. Jack Bergstrom with a nice spinning play. And that was thrown on a line over there to first. And there's some confusion on the baseball field right now, because that play was so well executed. Gallagher moved over to first as Schnurman was trying to run in for the bunt. And Gallagher was shaking his head. It did not like the call by the first base umpire. And now Barry Aiden's going to go run out there and say what's up to the umpire at first. It looked like he beat him by a half a step. Bergstrom made a really nice play. That bunt was perfectly laid down, and a speedy Christian LaPierre still was almost beat by it. So Barry Aiden talking things over. And Barry will walk back to the dugout. So a huge spot here. No way to dance around it. The bases are juiced. 1 out. Bases loaded. LaPierre reaches on an infield single. Easton Leonard now steps in. The righty has a chance. The pitch is outside for ball number 1. Moritz needs to dig deep, get some extra grip, and find the strike zone here. Bases are loaded. There is nowhere to put Leonard, who's already walked once today, 0 for 2, with a lineout and a strikeout. A K would be huge, so would be a double play. Double play depth, out there for the defense. The pitch. In there for strike number 1. Count moves to 1 ball and 1 strike. A huge spot in this game. The Merchants, their chance is now. The Studs looking to just maintain a lead. Bases are loaded. Moritz looks in, gets the sign. The stretch, the 1-1 swing and a miss for strike number 2. Moritz 1 strike away from striking out Easton Leonard and getting his 2nd out here in the 8th inning. It's been shaky from the get-go. The 1-2 swing and a miss for strike number 3. PJ Moritz sits him down on a changeup. A nicely executed pitch on the bottom part of the zone, and now that'll bring up Tyler Bugaby with a couple of outs. So Bugby steps in. 1 for 3 with an infield single. Reached on an error in the 7th and a strikeout in the 3rd. PJ Moritz, the first pitch. Strike number 1 on the outside part of the plate. An off-speed pitch just scraped the zone there. And ahead early is Moritz. It's so important to get ahead of these batters as the 0-1 pitch comes in. And that one just missed down low for ball number 1. The Studs faithful wanted it. They will not get it, though. So Moritz is going to have to throw another couple of strikes, at least if he wants a K. Maybe can try to induce some weak contact as well. Bases are loaded. The 1-1. Down low for ball number 2. 2-1. The biggest spot of the game so far right here. It's time to lock in for PJ Moritz. The pitching was so solid through 6 innings, and in the 7th and 8th, it's been a little shaky. But can he get it done? The 2-1 is in there for strike number 2. Have not given up a run yet. There was bases loaded, just 1 out. But Moritz gets the big strikeout and now is 1 strike away from back-to-back Ks and getting out of this bottom of the 8th unscathed. Working out of the jam is Moritz. The 2-2. Ground ball towards the shortstop. This should do it. The flip over to second in time for out number 3. PJ Moritz works out of the bases loaded jam, and he will go back into the dugout. His ERA not affected at all. A great job by the Studs, and the Merchants, a 1 out, bases loaded, unable to capitalize. So it's no earned runs, 3 runners left on 1 hit, and it's the Studs up 5-2 going into the bottom of the 8th inning. He's been pitching a while.
This guy can't pitch a lot, so no. Drew. Top of the water. Oh. Anybody know the number of like 911? Anybody know the number of like 911? Oh, shit. Yeah, I didn't give this one. I know he had it. He didn't do it for like there, but that's what I'm watching it for two for like this entire season. Oh, Jesus. And besides that, my ass is sore. Come on, guys. We need 6 more outs. Oh. 3 on this inning, 3 on the top of the 9th. Yeah, come on. All right, Drew.
Welcome back into the bottom of the 8th. It's the Studs up 5-2 over the Everett Merchants, and leading off will be the leadoff hitter, Drew Kamihara. Kamihara 0 for 3 on the day, looking to find his first hit of the ball game. Sepulveda still out there on the hill. The first pitch fouled back for strike number 1. Kamihara has been in a little bit of a rut lately. Has been trying to work out of it in a variety of ways. Trying to lay down a bunt as the 0-1 pitch comes down, a swing and a miss. But the problem with Kamihara right now, unfortunately, he's just been getting behind in counts consistently in all 3 at-bats as the 0-2 pitch comes in. And that's in there for strike 3. And it's his 3rd strikeout of the day. So Kamihara with another tough 0 for 4 performance. Kamihara is lost at the plate right now, unfortunately. Now batting, number 7, Aiden Dance. And he will go back to the dugout. So Aiden Dance will step in. The first pitch. Fly ball down the left field line, goes into foul territory and will go out of play. And that one really could have hit my car. Kind of worried over there and left. Was right in line with my Toyota Pilot. And those things are made nice and strong, but I don't know if they're strong enough to withstand the force of a baseball. So the 0-1 pitch comes in, fouled back, and Sepulveda has been locked down since he's come into this ball game. Ahead on another hitter, 0-2. Has already got himself a strikeout in this inning against Kamihara. The 0-2, up and in for ball number 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. 1 out. Studs up 5-0 here in the bottom 8th. On deck is Murray Shige. The 1-2 skips in for ball number 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. I want to go back and talk about Drew Kamihara a little bit. He's been in a slump, and when you're in those types of slumps, the only way to go is up, and that's what you got to keep telling yourself as the 2-2 pitch comes in. It's a weakly hit fly ball to shallow right field. Coming under it is LaPierre, and he will make the catch for out number 2, and that'll bring up Murray Shige. Now batting number 8, Makana Murray Shige. But going back to Drew Kamihara, he's such a good baseball player, can make consistent contact, and sometimes the ball just isn't landing where you want it to. Your bat isn't doing what you want it to. You know, the pitcher finding strikes, you know, that infield bunt as the first offering comes into Murray Shige. It's a pop-up towards the third baseman. It's going to be a tough play, but making the play is Easton Leonard. So it's another quick 1-2-3 bottom of the 8th inning. The Studs are going to try to hang on to a 5-2 lead going into the top of the 9th. Last chance for the Everett Merchants, and staying out there will be PJ Morris. Must-see TV. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the broadcast. Top of the 9th. It is hang on time here for the Mariners. For the Studs, excuse me. The Mariners did not hang on. They lost 5-4. It's the Studs who come in, the other Seattle team, and it's PJ Moritz on the hill. Studs up 5-2. The pitch is just outside for ball number 1, 1-0. Leading off for the Merchants is going to be number 8, Axel Pulls. It's the leadoff hitter. The first pitch, ground ball down the first base line, and it's foul. So count moves to 1 ball and 1 strike. Pulls, he is 1 for 3 today, but has reached twice with that single in the 7th and with a walk. Also has a strikeout in the 3rd inning. The 1-1 from Moritz comes in. It is just inside for ball number 2. The Studs, the last few games, have beaten teams, and they've beaten teams by a lot, excluding the Blackfins, who scored 8 runs in the 9th. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen here as the 2-1 pitch comes in. It's a hard hit ball through the first base gap, and that will be a leadoff hit for Pulls. So not what you want to see if you're a Studs fan here in the top of the ninth. Morris gives up a leadoff knock, and now that'll bring up Jonas Schul. But the Studs have had double-digit run totals in 3 straight games. Now in this 4th game, unfortunately, just the 5 runs. Still pretty good baseball offensively, but just not the same as the last 3 games. As the next pitch comes in, bounces in for ball number 1. Jonas Schul has a couple of strikeouts already on the day with a walk and a sac fly in the 7th. A base hit would be huge here for the Merchants as the throw goes over to first, not in time. Trying to keep Puls over there, but realistically, Puls doesn't really matter. 3 runs are needed for the Merchants here in the top of the 9th. The runner does go anyway. The swing and the miss. The throw over to second. The skip and the tag is applied and not in time. And Dance hates the call. Puts his hands on his head. He thought he was out by a country mile. But the third base umpire who was over there said, no dice. So the count will move to 1 ball and 1 strike. Runner now on second. The double play is off. The 1-1, hard hit ball, and that will get through the second base, third base gap. Coming onto the ball is the left fielder, Dance. The throw in to the infield will keep the runner at bay. And now runners are at the corners. It is lock-in time for Moritz and the Studs. Runners now on first and third. Still nobody out here in the top of the 9th. The Studs in danger of losing their 10-game streak as the ground ball goes over to the third baseman. The toss to second. The throw to first, not in time. 1 run will score, and it'll be 1 out. So a huge first out. 1 run will score. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter too much. It's now 5-3 Studs. Runner on first, 1 out. The pitch. Ground ball up the middle. A tough play and will be not able to be made by the second baseman Gallagher. So now there'll be runners on first and second. It's another base hit. And that was Keaton Fisher who had a knock. And now it'll bring up Jaden Piper. Piper 0 for 3 on the day with a walk. Looking to grab himself a first base hit. Tying run now at first base. The leading run is at home. The Studs have won 9 games in a row. In danger of losing that streak. 9 games in a row in conference, excuse me. This would be number 10. The look over to second. The first offering is inside for ball number 1. Runners on first and second take their lead. Studs up 2 here in the bottom of the 9th. The pitch. Outside for ball number 2. 2-0. Waves his bat a few times. Piper looking to do some damage. The next pitch is in there for strike number 1. 2-1 now. Moritz has got the hair flowing out of the back of his hat. Has got red cheeks. He is locking in, trying to dig deep and find this win. The 2-1, a swing and a miss for strike number 2. Moritz is 1 strike away from Kane Piper and giving him a golden sombrero. The 2-strike count. Fouled back. Staying alive is Piper. Fisher over there at first. At second is Jonas Schul. A knock into the gap would most likely score a couple and tie this ball game. The next pitch is downstairs for ball number 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Full count here to Piper. One out. Looks in, gets the sign from Bergstrom. The 3-2 is inside for ball number 4. It's a crucial walk given up by PJ Moritz. And now the bases are loaded here for the catcher, Nate Davis. He was hit by a pitch his last time up, walked his previous time up, and then struck out and reached on an error the time before. He's reached base 3 or 4 times. 1 out. Runners are everywhere. Studs trying to cling on to a 2-run lead. The pitch is way outside for ball number 1. Here in the top of the 9th, nothing coming easy for the Studs, making to look at 10 straight victories in the Pacific International League. Here in Puget Sound Lager Stadium, the 1-0 in there for strike number 1. A huge dig deep moment for Moritz, and he found himself a strike. There is nowhere to put Nate Davis right now. Strikes are needed to be thrown. The 1-1 is in there. It hits the black on the outside part of the plate. Davis doesn't like it, but either way it goes down as strike number 2. Double play depth for the defense in the Studs. Blue skies here in Tacoma, awaiting a Studs victory. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch outside. Count will now move to 2-2. Studs up 5-3. Runners on first, second, and third. 1 out. Studs up 2. Moritz looks in. The 2-2 count. Swing and a miss for strike number 3. And the Studs are 1 out away from closing this thing out. It'll bring up the bat of Christian Lapierre. Hitting .330 on the year. Had an infield base hit his last time up. 1 for 3 on the day. The first pitch, swing and a miss for strike number 1. Moritz inching closer to the victory. Trying to hold on. Here are the Studs. The 0-1. Swing and a miss for strike 2. Like a hot knife through butter, Lapierre swung right through that changeup, and PJ Moritz is 1 pitch away from closing this game out. The 0-2 pitch outside for ball number 1. Top of the 9th. Runners are everywhere. The Merchants down 5-3 to the Studs. Moritz looks in. The 1-2. Check swing. Did he go? He did! Strike 3! PJ Moritz closes this game out with a sword strikeout here in the top of the 9th inning. The Studs barely, by the skin of their teeth, hang on to the cliffside and take the victory from the Everett Merchants, who leave 3 runners on here in the top of the 9th. The Studs win their 10th straight game in Pacific International League play. My goodness, what a baseball game this was. All around, great stuff by the Studs. There was a few guys that really stood out, but no one more than Tyler Logan. Logan had himself a great day. Gave up 0 earned runs on 7 strikeouts in 4 innings of work. He was locked down. Offensively, Kamihara had 3 strikeouts from the 1 hole. Aiden Dance, he went 1 for 1 with 2 hit by pitches. He had himself a nice day. Murray Shige was 1 for 3. Ben Schnurman goes 2 for 3. Afwork gets himself a hit. And then from there on, no one else got a hit. But the Studs do just enough to hang on and beat the Merchants on a scorching day here in Tacoma. My goodness, what a win for the Studs. So that'll about do it here in Puget Sound Lager Stadium. The Studs hang on and beat the Merchants 5-3. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. The next game for the Studs, we will take on, there will be an off day tomorrow, July 7th. The 8th, there will also be an off day, so some much needed rest for the Studs who've just played 4 straight games. And then we'll take on the Gumbaroos on Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. first pitch. Then we'll have Wednesday off before another 4-game homestand. My goodness, thank you guys all so much for listening in. The Studs beat the Merchants 5-3. It's a final score here from Tacoma. This is Drew Albaugh, giving your broadcast play-by-play all day long, saying so long. Have a great evening, and as always, go Studs. Goodbye, everybody.